pins with a paracord handle, just little scouty neck knives. What would be cool for the next vid would be to follow along with that big ferro rod for Richard. So I'll be sourcing the handle material, which is a reasonable match to the MOD handle, making it, and then I'll show you how I turn them on my lathe. Hi, welcome back. So, beginning to make a start on Richard's very large ferro rod for the MOD knife, which has the big copper rivets going in the side. So, first tool, and these at some point. Now that's copper. Size of that. This large solid piece of copper bar should mimic the copper rivets that go through the MOD handle, which would be about there on the thing. I'll have one. Just the hole drilled in the hardwood, because it's the same as the handle, and then the actual ferro rod coming out there. So let's section up the hardwood. An investment for the future. It's a three-way voice, so by having the machine sides level with that, it's pretty much in there as it should be, because I've got two cut sides and two machine sides. So what I'll do is I'm going to put a piece of wood up to the top of those jaws there and get that so it's neat and tidy up against where it would be a piece of wood, and then it's in there pretty true in order to drill through like that. And by having it this way in the vise as opposed to that way sticking up, I've got more jaw on the workpiece, plus it's not as high, so that means that the chuck's travel is less, because of the sort of the arbor inside there. It's got less distance to travel up and down and out and in and out. And just to bullseye the centre of that cross, I'm using a brad point quarter, which is what I use for my kydex, so the actual spike is straight in the centre of the cross. That gives me a decent centre, of which then to get the other sizes holes, just to get the other size holes drilled. Try that at a guess, because I've got that 13 in there now. So a quarter lives there, so I don't mix it up with my high-speed steels. I'm going to go to about a 9. And then the 13. I think this is a 3 to 16 chuck. So when you get your pillar drills or bench drills, a lot of them start at 0 and go to 13. This is a 3 to 16, I think, so it allows me to do 3 to 15. So it allows me to use bigger drills. I only use a sort of 1 to a 3 mil, I use another drill because the chuck will be, allow its 3 jaws set up for a slightly different size. At some point what I'll do is when the hole comes for the copper pin, which is over here now, it is, I shall put the copper pin in there based off the centre there, and then wherever that is, what is nice to have is to have the tip of the hole there just join in there, because it allows the glue to travel through. Not necessarily to join them, but it allows air to move through, and you don't end up with a bicycle pump effect here, where you could drive it in and then slowly but surely it eases out whilst it's gluing. So now I shall bullseye that about there. Yep, nice. And this one is a 9.5. I've just used a 4 mil just to put a passage hole between the ferro rod end and the copper accent pin that's going to be going through. Next thing I want to do is the lanyard hole to allow the shock cord to go through, and that's just a case of putting that back in there, making sure where the drill goes through and out the other side you're in the centre of the jaws of the thing, so it'll be offset. It'll be about there. I'll use a 5. So, now I've got to prepare the metal pieces to go into the hole for the ferro rod. The copper goes in there, and then most importantly of all, finish that end, because it's a pig to do with turning, and all I'm going to do is just run it on the grinder and just finish it off so there's no pencil marks. The actual wood turning itself will finish it a lot better, but it's just for the now. I'm just going to make sure that my discipline is every time I do that, sometimes I don't turn them and they end up square faced, but if you do it every single time, the one time you don't do a turn one, you do a square ended one, you don't forgotten. So basically you just want to come to the grinder and lose the pencil marks. That's me trolling me. Fall down on the floor, right? It's one of these fun just so there's no pencil marks. And if you were doing a square, you want to take that to a 36, 120, 300, 400, and then you can buff it off, and then that's it. You haven't got to finish with it. And anytime you go on the grinder and put bevels and angles on it, you haven't got to worry about that section there, which is right at the base of the ferro, which is a real swine to work on at a later stage. So that's that done. Looks pretty nice. Okay, when it comes to prepping this, you want an idea of how deep it's going to go. So I'll lose the decal, the Pancake decal, because I don't want half in and half out of the hole. We can white spirit the rest off later just before we go in. But it's a case of, because it's not going to end up with a lanyard, just want it out, it's actually going into a thing. I'm going to give it a clue as to how deep it goes, and then go on a belt grinder and put a key on it to allow the epoxy something to bite into, and a slight bevel of the end, because if you think on a jobber drill you've got the starts at the bottom, so you think is the depth of the hole, but it isn't actually, because you've got the hole conical down at the end. So you actually want to bevel it, and you can actually drive it into the bottom of that hole with a little bit of a shoulder knocked off of the end of the ferro. Something like that, and it'll actually drive into the bottom of the hole. So, and as for cutting copper, you've got to consider that copper conducts heat crazy easy. So when you're on a bandsaw blade or hacksaw blade, the heat will shoot up. Very mindful about it. Going through copper. It might take 2 or 3 goes, get a pair of pliers and hold on to it, but the heat will transfer up through the copper really easy. So you want to cut yourself off your section. Mark it off with a pencil or a permanent marker for how much you need, plus a little bit.